You are welcome in the 98th episode of Zoology class organized by Society of Career Technology and Jan Vikas Mahasabha. Today we will talk about nervous system and reproductive system of Hardmania. Although in larval stage of Hardmania, a tail is there containing nerve cord and notochord. But in adult Hardmania, that tail is lost, and notochord and nerve cord are also lost. But only the anterior most extremity of the nerve cord remains as such in the form of a small nerve ganglion or primitive brain. Actually, there is a group of three structures, and whole setup is called neural complex. And this neural complex of Hardmania includes three structures. One, the nerve ganglion or primitive brain. It is 4 millimeter long, and on the anterior side it sends 3 nerves to the branchial siphon area and 2 nerves to the atrial siphon area. There is another structure, neural gland, which is considered to be perhaps equivalent to hypophysis or pituitary of higher animals. Although in all animals, neural gland or hypophysis is found just below the brain, but here it is surprising that how in Hardmania it is found just above the nerve ganglion. And anteriorly it has a funnel-like structure. Perhaps it acts as an excretory and endocrine glands both. Perhaps through this funnel some excretory matters are collected, filtered and accumulated here, and then they are eliminated. And it also secretes a hormone which helps in oviposition and metamorphosis. Just below, anterior to the nerve ganglion, there is one more structure which is called dorsal tubercle. This dorsal tubercle contains 2 spirally coiled structures. There are 3 spirals in each part, and the surface has some ciliated cells. Perhaps it is olfactory as well as a gustatory. Olfactory means it helps in smelling the smell of incoming water current, and it is also gustatory. It tastes the incoming water containing some microscopic food particles. So this was a brief about the neural complex of Hardmania. Now let us come to the reproductive system. It is interesting to note that in Hardmania 2 gonads are found. Left gonad is present in between the coil of intestine. It is the intestine coil, and this is the gonad. And the right gonad is present just above the heart and pericardium. Each gonad is hermaphrodite. It contains both male organ testis and female organ ovary. So there are about 25 lobes in each gonad. The outer lobe of each lobe is testis lobe, and from each lobe a small sperm duct vasa efferentia comes out. All these vasa efferentia unite to form a common oviduct or vas deferens, which opens near the arteriopore. The interior part of each lobe contains the ovarian lobes, and from ovarian lobes again separate small oviducts come out. All these oviducts combine to form a common oviduct which opens by a separate oviducal aperture. It is interesting to note that sperm cells are 4 micron long, and they are of 3 types on the basis of relative size of acrosome and the head containing the nucleus. So the size of acrosome may be smaller than the head, may be equal to the head, or may be even larger than the head. What is the significance of this? We don't know. Similarly, the ovum, which is about 0.3 millimeter diameter, it contains a yolky cytoplasm, a nucleus which is present not in the center but slightly away from the center, and in the nucleus also we have a nucleolus which is also slightly away from the central point. Along with normal plasma membrane, 3 more membranes are there in this ovum. Normal plasma membrane or cell membrane, and around that a vitelline membrane which is also secreted from the ovum itself, and then there are 2 more membranes, one outer chorion and one inner chorion. They are secreted from the follicle cells. On the outer side of outer chorion also we have outer follicle cells. On the inner side of inner chorion also we have some follicle cells. So these follicle cells provide nourishment to the developing embryo. Now let us discuss about the embryology of although it is hermaphrodite, both testes and ovarian lobes are found in the same animal, but they are protogynous, means ovarian lobes mature earlier, so self-fertilization has not yet been reported, only the cross-fertilization takes place. Both male and female gametes are discharged in the surrounding sea water where they fuse with each other to form the zygote. Now, to gain knowledge is practice, and to gain division and marks is a tactics. So, further cleavage of zygote, you have to understand one trick. Almost in 90% animals, except the chick embryology and one more, the cleavage is similar in all animals. So every time there is a vertical division for the first time passing through the Greek crescent, dividing the zygote into 2 cells. Then once again there is a vertical division but at right angle to the first one, so it divides it into 4 cells. Then the third division is horizontal and slightly displaced from center towards upside. So 4 smaller micromere cells are formed, 4 larger megamere cells are formed. After that, the division becomes irregular. Initially, a solid ball-like structure is formed called marula. Then it changes into a hollow ball called blastula, which is 1 cell layer thick. Then at one side, a blastopore opening is formed, through which some of these cells destined to form mesoderm and endoderm invaginate inside, and the embryo becomes 2 layers thick during gastrulation. All these steps are more or less the same in development of all animals. So you have not to worry about that. You have to simply just make it in mind. Same description to be written here also and in all other animals also. Important thing is that after about 16 hours of fertilization, hatching takes place, because the chorionic membrane and vitelline membrane hold the embryo inside it, and they do not permit it for growth because there is no space. So now at this stage, the vitelline membrane, chorionic membrane break, and the embryo comes out of the egg covering, which is called hatching. Slowly it develops into an ascidian tadpole larva. Ascidian tadpole larva is about 1.2 millimeter long, having a head and a tail. The head portion is 0.3 millimeter long, the tail portion is 0.9 millimeter long. At the anterior end, it has 3 adhesive papillae, 2 are dorsolateral and 1 is ventromedian. So this is the position, the 2 are dorsolateral and 1 is ventromedian. So 3 adhesive papillae are there. For some time, it is a free floating, free swimming larva. and initially it is photopositive and geonegative. It means it is attracted towards light and it repels the gravitational force of Earth. After some time, its nature is changed and now it becomes photonegative and geopositive. So it moves away from light towards the gravitational fold of Earth's surface and now comes to attach with the sea bottom in the sand, searching some suitable substratum. When they attach, after that their further development takes place. Here important thing is, in all other animals we see progressive metamorphosis, where the larvae are less developed and more developed adults develop from them. Here the larvae are more developed, having the basic chordate features notochord and nervochord. But in the adult, when the tail is lost, these notochord and nervochord are also lost. So at this time, due to activity of lysosomal enzymes, there is degeneration of tail. And one more interesting feature is there. There is a 80 to 90% angle rotation. This area present in between mouth and the substratum develops more rapidly, and this area develops less rapidly. So what happens? The position of tail which was here, now it migrates to here. This is the dissolving tail, and this way whole orientation of the body is changed. Finally they reach the branchial siphon, atrial siphon in the adult. Further, during this metamorphosis, some larval characters are lost. Tail is lost, nervochord is lost, notochord is lost, and even the ocelli and statocysts present in the brain are lost. And some progressive changes take place in which some characteristics of the adult develop, where alimentary canal becomes much more developed, endostyle becomes much more developed, reproductive organs are also formed. This way, gradually it develops into a fully developed adult. This type of development is beneficial in the sense that adult animal is stationary at one place, whereas this movement of moving larva of ascidian tadpole larva helps in its propagation to different places to get new supply of food. It has an embryological significance also. It shows similar development pattern found in other vertebrates except this loss of tail. And it has a taxonomic significance also. Before discovery of this tadpole larva, earlier scientists thought that it is a member of phylum Mollusca. But when this larval stage was found having a notochord and nervochord, then it was proved that, well, it is a chordate, not a non-chordate. So these are certain significance of the occurrence of ascidian tadpole larva in the life cycle of Herdmania. Now tomorrow we will talk about affinities of Herdmania. Thank you very much.